Well, hello people, and welcome back to episode 16 of Euclid, How a Vanilla Cities 2 build. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Over those last 16 episodes, we built out the towns of Benedict and Shelton, which aren't yet complete. You can see the gaping hole next to the university that will expand with the demand. In today's episode, we're going to be doing some network preparation, which are always my favourite episodes. You guys voted overwhelmingly last episode for the Lake Town to be our next population centre. Today we have an awful lot of work to do to bring roads, trains and buses over here, with some very difficult terrain to work with, and an enormous hill between Benedict and the new town, so we'll be using some train tunnels today, with lots and lots of terrain work. Let's get stuck into it, shall we? So in terms of the context of where we are, this one right here is going to be the new town, right? And we'll likely have something down by this one. Then this huge big forested creek takes us back to Benedict. So a really cool bit of the map, and should be quite fun, but we'll need to terraform a lot of the land here today. I think this is where we'll start from, right? We'll start from the town centre and then work our way back to the networks that we have here. The train is going to be the most challenging today. And we'll grab these 6, should be enough I think. So let's come into the lake shore and we'll pick out our height for today's work. And it's kind of a natural break already in the contour lines there, isn't there? And how do we feel about that as a possible lake shore height? I think before we do decide on that, let's also test one of the medium keys here, because these are going to be here. I want to make sure that they're not too high, and that's pretty much perfect, isn't it, right? So I think with these vanilla keys we can say that 3 bricks deep is a sensible height, I think, there, isn't it? Super. Let's go with that height then. Let's get all of this terraformed out to that layer. Super. So it gives us a very obviously terraformed ball, but I think once Benedict has stopped dying, do we need death care? It should be alright. I think there's just a bit of death wave, is there? Yeah, this Hearse is moving around, we should be okay. Yes, but we will bring in the ridges back here once we bring in the networks, which we'll do. I think this one here, this hillside, will probably hold an arterial heading to another interchange that links into the national road. That will then probably come out this way and link down into the town that sits around this. So we can start to see that future connectivity beginning to develop. So let's return to the lake and begin to establish our arterial infrastructure. So this town's going to be nowhere near as big. Currently 81,000 people live in Benedict, so I reckon don't want to take this town much beyond 20,000 probably, if not maybe 10. I guess we'll see what goes on. So let's just come to the lake and start to establish our arterial infrastructure, if you like. So we'll have this there. I bet this 4-lane road will... So let's do a nice perfect curve here, actually. Let's do 64 by 64. And then this will leave that map tile once it opens over the hills and far away. And then with this one, I'd love to have this arterial road come up to the key roads that eventually lie there. So let's draw some of those in first. All of those just went in insanely smoothly for vanilla. Thank God, that was a dream. That literally never happens. And then with this road, let's bring that pretty much up into the middle, which looks to be this grid about here, doesn't it? I want to make sure I stay true with the zonings here. It probably will fracture a little bit as it meets the snow infrastructure, but I'm absolutely fine with that. And then out of this end, this is where I'm probably going to reclaim maybe a touch more land with the terrain. I always find it so useful to do these network prep episodes. I think it just helps develop a sense of scale, I think, before you start a new sort of major metropolitan centre. Or a village or a city centre, whatever it is you're actually building, you know. Let's just begin to create some slopes up to a distinctive height here. And with a bit of soften over those rougher edges, we should just be able to naturalize it a little bit more. Okay. Which would be quite a nice view for the town as well, I think, when it's sat in this little basin that's going to develop, isn't it? In the hills, which would be nice. Almost like a mini Benedict, because on the grander scale, you know, this also sits in the basin, doesn't it? Maybe a recurring theme, right? I will also name this town as well today, after another egg dish, which was definitely the recurring theme of the series, wasn't it? So this arterial road can come up, and then we'll find a way which might change once this tile boundary opens. But it will go somewhere to link in with the other interchange. Leaving this side of town is going to be quite interesting. So what I'd like to do is grab the height this little national road is on here. And just check the differences. So it's not too bad, especially over the distance we have to cover. So with that in mind then, let's just do a huge straight slope up to this with quite a wide brush because I want enough land for the road to sit. And let's bring this in from here. Try not to worry too much about the carvings into the landscape. We can always chisel them out almost to make like these little isolated rock sculptures. So don't worry about it if it does bother you. It will come together, I promise. You just gotta bear with it. There we go. Soften that back out. And then we'll definitely stick with the 4-lane highway roads here. And then let's just send this back down to the start of the arterial system in the new town. Contour lines will be helpful here too. Super. So that gives us one road connection into the town at least. Now people can actually make it over here. No one's actually left alive in Benedict to come here, that is. Super. So now let's turn our attention to the next form of transit that we want here, which is going to be the train station. So we've got a number of options available to us now. Small train stations may be a little too small. I think instead I'm going to grab the medium train station. I'm going to put it on the arterial road here. Let's have this roughly centered. But then again, maybe let's actually flip... What am I doing here? Let's flip the train station around, right? So then we don't need to do the level crossing. We can just have the train run parallel with the arterial into the town, which will be a really cool view as well, right? Cool. So here, we're going to tunnel into this land mass, right? This big bulk of land that sits between the creek and the road. It's then going to emerge for a very brief distance. Now, shout out to Brassack in the Discord for this. He was happy enough to sit and show me some inspiration from Derbyshire, actually, for a little mountain train line that constantly pops in and out of the hillside via these little segments of exposed rail. So something like that. Let's get rid of these trees as well. And then the train line will pass somewhere like this, pretty much right against the water. Which again, once we've got all the trees and rocks around here, that would be such a cool little view for this lake, just to see that exposed bit of rail there. Now, the CS2 tunnels are just awful, to be to be quite honest. I really hate them because they conform with the terrain, which is just such a ridiculous way of doing it, if you ask me. I really wish they were like CS1 tunnels, but let's soften out the land where we're going to go into. Now let's bring the gradient down to 0.7. So introducing a slight curve seems to help somewhat, I think. It's still not perfect, but I'll detail it as much as I can. But case in point, right? It'll look something like this. And then as we come under the land, I want to emerge out over here, where there will be a new rail interchange this side. So as long as the gradient's not too bad, let's go for... I think that's a minus 0.6% gradient there, isn't it? That should be okay. Good lord. I absolutely hate the tunneling mechanics. I think they really need to be worked on. Especially in vanilla. With Move It, you can just finagle the node to get it like you want, but... Man, they're a chore in vanilla. They really need to fix them. But that does give us the tunnel now passing through the mountains. And to emerge out over here, where we'll develop another rail interchange. I'll probably have to move some buildings here, I think. Unless I come out, maybe. That's the tile boundary back there, isn't it? Yeah, I'm going to need to move the crematorium. You are a temporary crematorium, aren't you? So let's just stick you somewhere here. There's literally no room for it. There must be one place. Just put it by the church for now. We'll find another home for it at some point. And I think I probably need to move this extra garage as well. I think it might be a little bit wide to get a train bridge over. Let's have a little look. Really want to snap into the grid frames here. Yeah, we can just about get over it. Although we don't need to be 15 meters high though. No, maybe I do need to be 15 meters high to get over it. Okay, I was right. That is quite tall, but I suppose it's alright. This is a rail bridge. And then we'll take this back to Earth and just find the best gradient. Plus 0.2 seems pretty good. And then I actually wonder if we even need the platform. Would the tunnels behave themselves in this situation? I hardly doubt it, given the current behaviour today, but we'll check anyway. It's a little bit better behaved than the other ones, isn't it? I think I can deal with it. And then let's get this hooked in to this area over here as well. We might have to move. Yeah, I think I'm just going to redraw this bridge here. So I think I'm pretty happy with that. All the gradients are under 3% as well. Or the train police are down in the comments. Because I know you are. You're already there. I can hear you typing. Here at the train station, we don't have a ton of trains left. There's only one, and there'll likely be two serving this line. But now seems like a good idea to upgrade our train yard. And we can add the maintenance hall, which will improve the maintenance speed. And also, some extra tracks, which will give us 5 extra trains. Yes, it does. Cool. And we don't need that there, though. Let's delete that. There we go. And now let's hook this in. Cool. So that hooks it into the rail network. Now we can join our passenger trains. So we have... This is the intercity one. That will remain. There's no need for that to change. Now, coming back to the platform. Yeah, there's 2 intercity trains here, isn't there? Or at least going to the outside connection. So I think this white line might actually divert off the outside connection and to the new town. So if we can find it here. This is the white one, isn't it? Let's drag this up to the new station, which will hopefully work. Yes, it will. Fantastic news. Up on the right side of the station. Eventually this train line will also go to the farming town up onto these hills once the little community's out here, and there'll likely be multiple towns, so multiple train stations too. And that way you'll be able to get back to Benedict from this area via train, and then also via, where is it, over here, this area by train, obviously once it exists. That should be an awful lot of fun. Of course, if they still want to get to the outside connection here at Denham, they can do. All they need to do is change the train at Benedict to get onto the green line, which is still heading to the outside connection. So in terms of the public transport connectivity, that should still be quite nice. This train station's getting a bit busy, isn't it? Holy smokes. You guys alright? You waiting for a bus, maybe? Potential bus infrastructure collapse there. How many buses do we have in use? I'm not seeing any warning lights to say we're running out of vehicles. Yeah, there's still plenty spare in the depot as well. Oh, there goes the train. Isn't that cool? I do love the CS2 trains, to be fair to them. Okay. Well, we got a bit of a backlog at Benedict. We'll see if the train takes some of the sting out of that. Here comes one of those buses. Not very full. He's just gonna flatten all those people there. Okay. Well, if you're very busy then, let's come onto this bus line. And let's increase some assigned vehicles. Let's maybe bump. Let's leave ourselves 2 spare vehicles. Although we'll probably need a new bus depot today because I want buses running to the new town. Which we'll name because I can't just keep calling it the new town. Okay, we'll see if those extra buses help then. But I imagine this will only get busier now it's going to new towns. We'll wait and see, of course. So let's move into a bit of a road time lapse here, so we can begin to establish some local frames. Ooh, I've let in a bit more water, haven't I? I terraformed this open, and it's filled the creek. Oh god, that's not gone downstream, has it? Please tell me it's not. That's not. That is not good news if it is. I didn't realise that bit of land was acting as a natural dam for Benedict. You can see where the water level's raised. Oops, that's okay though. It's not flowing out here, is it? No, there's almost like another little natural dam there, isn't there? Like a spillover, at least. Cool, alright then. Let's not terraform any further down. So I have also drawn in the name of the town, which generated as Highland Glade, which is very appropriate. However, there was many great suggestions of egg-themed dishes, of which I'm going to go for Sunnyside. And we'll call it Sunnyside Lake since this district kind of encapsulates this whole area here, right? So thank you for all your name suggestions. Do keep them coming for new towns. I really love the egg-themed idea. Obviously. So let's slope up from this way. I want this to kind of follow the shape of the creek if we can. And this should be probably one of the nicer drives in the city, I imagine. So we'll definitely use Highway Road for this. In terms of the other connections that are loose on the end of Benedict, this will likely be rounded out with possibly another town centre, because I think I'll probably have another major university building here with a bridge crossing over the creek again, and then a final development for Upper Benedict, and then the end of Benedict, if that makes sense. But we don't have that tile yet. That'll be another project for another day. And then this road right here, with our contour lines on, can head up to sunny side. How nice is that? It's this little country road that follows the creek, which currently has a huge forest in it. I will delete that, don't worry. I won't leave it like that. But otherwise, that's not too bad, I don't think. So let's move into the major detail in time-lapse now. What I do want to do, to briefly talk about that before we time-lapse it, is basically a lot of tree lining and grass lining this side of the quay onto the lake. And then we'll also get some bus stops and some base services placed, maybe some fire stations, just so we can see some activity, and then detail up everything that's happened around it, and then generally blend in our network preparation for today's new town. Otherwise, let's do some network detailing, and then we'll be right back. slight detail in time lapse here. The water level, it did raise. It did raise. I'm not sure if this is going to be able to be fixed. I have reinstated the dam. That was at the top of the creek. That was here ready because it wasn't actually flowing, so maybe it was there for a reason. Clearly. So we will hope that recedes throughout the rest of the detail, everyone. Okay, so it is receding by the looks of it. It is starting to calm down from where it's flooded. Because the CS2 water behaves so differently. It's, yeah, there we go. It's starting to recede from some of these streets now. All this was flooded. That was very squeaky bum time. Holy crap, we really flooded Benedict with that. Oops. Although, thankfully, though, is, I think it's receded. If this doesn't fix itself, yeah, it's definitely going down, isn't it? Yeah, you can see it starting to expose the land again here. I think it's just a very slow process. I say very anxiously. To also be fair to the citizens here, they are taking the mass flooding of Lower Benedict in their stride. The people of Euclid are hardy people, if anything. just a little update on the flooding. It is calming down now. I was very relieved. It got proper squeaky bum time for a second there. You can see the water's slowly receding back into the creek, and it is gradually peeling back away from the high street. It destroyed the school. It's flooded the whole big box lot, but it is slowly coming back. It reached almost to like here, like this street with the commercial on it right here. It came really far out. So an absolutely devastating flood for Lower Benedict, unfortunately. But with the town framing now, next episode we can come in and begin to add our buildings and larger infrastructure to the town of Sunnyside. Around the train line are just scattered in a lot of rocks, overgrowth, and kind of sandy shrubland alongside the rail. And also installed a couple of what you would consider to be tourist viewpoints. There's event stages, tables, eateries, and just general nice viewpoint action, some good picnic spots as well. Looking out over the lake that also overlooks the exposed rail as it briefly exits its tunnel system. Really fun little road network, and nice to see some little loose ends of Benedict also get tied into this as well. And certainly in the coming episodes we'll develop that second interchange on the National Road that heads kind of west out of Sunnyside, if you like, as we begin to bring people into the town and we need that extra traffic capacity. An enormous shout out to the YouTube members and patrons that support these videos. So the shout out to the Golden Egg patrons, Bad Wolf, Blythe, Casino, Great C, Jamin, Louis Adlam, Michael W, Phoenix ND, and Spartan Angel. Thank you so much indeed for all of your incredible support. If you want to get involved in that, links to Instant Gaming and Patreon always below. Otherwise, enjoy the cinematics and I'll see you next time. As always, enjoy the rest of your day.